Trigger warning, don't come for me in the comments and try to bite my head off. Actually, you know what? If you want to do that, that's fine. I don't really care. This tag in the back of my shirt. Hold up. Restart, redo. But yeah, in all honesty, I really, I think this might ruffle some feathers. I talked about this a lot on my channel. There's a lot of people that consistently leave me comments about, not taking any action and take no action and never lift a finger, all those types of sayings and phrases. And if you are familiar with my content, familiar with my videos, then you will know that I like to take a holistic approach. And I believe that for a lot of things in life, the answer is somewhat a little bit more in the middle, or like things are in shades of gray, black thinking, white thinking, either A, either B, nothing in the middle. It's really not, in my opinion, in my experience, it's not a way that serves you. It might be fun to theorize and, sit and kind of think like, oh, this is the answer, the one true thing. What I've come to realize is all truths are but half truths. That is a saying in the Kabbalion, which, if you're not familiar, it goes over the 7 Hermetic principles and really just spiritual laws, which are self-evident in the universe. If you have a chance to read that, I would highly recommend it, as well as the Emerald Tablets. They both go over these Hermetic teachings. But to get back into the crux of the video today, so a lot of people, like we said, they have this philosophy of like taking no action, and that comes from the idea of Neville talks about this, and it's also in the Bible. Be still and know that you are God. And on one hand, I do believe there is something to this. I think that when you truly identify as that new kind of higher awareness, you identify with your higher self, you identify with that divinity, that divine energy that runs through you, you do get intuitions, you do get intuitive impulses. And so from that point of view, it could be said, I could understand how some people kind of go with that. They really take it to its extreme, which I think, that's my opinion. And I don't think that it's necessarily a very helpful way of looking at things. I've talked to Naya, I've talked to many of the people that actually get results, Life by Lucy, several of these bigger coaches that are here on the channel, Dylan James, as well as all these people, they talk about how they actually do take action, right? They have habits, they have morning routines, they do this, they do that. And so they're very intentional with what they do. And I would say anybody that really gets results is intentional, and you do end up taking action, whether you want to say that it's completely been inspired or completely aligned, whatever language you want to use. Any of your favorite coach, Sammy Ingram, let's look at any of these people, right, that achieve success, even if they're telling you not to take action. Even the YouTubers that literally sit there and say take no action, well, they filmed that video, they scripted the video out, they went up, got the camera, bought the camera, set it up, had the idea, they took the action, right? I could talk about this all day long, but basically, what I want to propose today is that while on one hand, if that works for you, that's fine. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to debate you. But what I am here to present is an alternative perspective, and that is, yeah, you could take you could just wait and be in that stillness and wait for those kind of intuitive impulses to come to you. That's one thing you could do. People talk about they receive random payments, they receive this or receive that. But what if, and hear me out here, please just suspend your disbelief for a second. What about all the people that actually do achieve a lot? What about all the people that, let's look at like Novak Djokovic, best tennis player. He talks about visualization. He talks about some of these principles. Actually, if you watch in his interviews, he talks about visualizing it, knowing that he was going to be the best tennis player in the world, right? He literally talks about how he used to visualize this. But he trains very hard. He trains arguably harder than anybody else in the world of tennis. Cristiano Ronaldo, that guy is extremely hardworking. Tom Brady. Just looking at some of these athletes, you can see that their training schedule, the amount of action that they're willing to take. Kobe Bryant, these guys are taking massive amounts of action, right? They've taken it to the other extreme. And, you could liken this to kind of like hustle culture versus manifesting whatever, no action and the most action to the point where you're driving yourself into the ground, right? You literally are like losing sleep and it's probably causing you health problems, the amount of action that some of these people actually take. It could be, right? And so what I want to propose is that, yeah, I don't necessarily think that you need to identify with one or the other, but why do we have to be so dogmatic? Why do we have to say that, oh, this person's like a hustle culture person and therefore, they're wrong. Or this person is a, manifestation person and therefore, people on both sides, they look at the other side and they're like, oh yeah, I don't, that's wrong. It's like, why does anybody have to be wrong? Why can't we just, agree there's multiple ways to get to an end point, right? There's different ways of doing things. And what I want to bring up to you guys here is, like, for me, in my personal experience, taking massive amounts of action is one way to manifest your goals. And let me share with you guys, a little bit about that. So when I was doing sales, I was doing door-to-door sales, right? And I've shared this example in my video that, my most popular video on the channel, which is, explaining robotic affirmations, how they work, right? Well, so what I was doing is I was robotically affirming to myself that I'm a phenomenal salesman. I make more sales than anybody else in my my region. I'm the best rookie. I'm the number one rookie in my region, right? And so what I was able to do is I was doing this, I was carrying this around. I also had a scripted vision that I had written to myself at this time. And I was reciting it to myself every morning and every night in the mirror while I looked at myself in the eyes with intention, saying that I was a phenomenal salesman, that I was making more and more sales every single day. And I would kind of go about my walks door to door, rampaging this, right? But let's take a look at this example, right? Because even the act of door-to-door selling, there's absolutely no way that you are going to be successful at something like that unless you were taking action. And what I did to generate the success that I had with this was that I was knocking doors like a madman, basically. There were days where I knocked 100 doors in a day. And if you guys can picture that, I'm out in South Texas, walking around in the neighborhood. I'm walking with my Nike Freeze, and it's hot, it's sweltering, I'm sweating, and I'm out here just reciting these affirmations to myself while I'm knocking doors, right? But let's think about this. Like, is there any possible way that I could be a successful door-to-door salesman without taking the action of knocking doors? Let me know down below in the comments, guys, if you can think of a way to do that. But I don't, unless I'm manifesting that people are knocking on my door. So, the likelihood that something like that could happen, I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. And that's what I want us to do, is kind of like use our common sense, use our rational thinking mind to really think through this stuff, right? We can hear all these people talk about something and share their knowledge and their ideas, but if we want to put this into practice and we actually want to get results instead of just theorizing, then whatever the goal that you are, whether you want to be a phenomenal tennis player or you want to be an amazing door-to-door salesman, you're going to have to train. You're going to have to do that thing. And so what ended up happening was, so I was doing this. I was robotically affirming to myself, and throughout the process, now this is the beauty of taking massive action that I want to point out. And the dichotomy of this between, the be still and not lift a finger versus like taking massive action on the other hand, right? And you see tons of people that accomplish a lot by taking action. And what I want to delineate here is that by taking massive action, one of the reasons that works, and now there's another big manifestation YouTuber named Aaron Doughty as well, who talks about this as well, massive action. The reason that it works, and he talks about how he did this in the form of creating his YouTube videos, is because by making so many videos, or by knocking on so many doors, by practicing tennis so much, you begin to naturally loosen your grip on your goal, on your end outcome. You can repeat to yourself your robotic affirmations that, yes, every day I'm becoming better and better at tennis, or better and better at making YouTube videos, or better and better at sales, right? And as you begin to take more and more, the first time that you knock on somebody's door, it's very intimidating. You're like judging yourself. You're like, oh, this person was rude to me. You're all in your head, and it feels like, like there's that friction there. You're learning a new skill. You're going through the uncomfortable emotions of something, and that's what happens a lot of the time when we begin a new path. When we start towards our goal, it can become very messy. Until there's a lot of mess that's involved with this stuff until we get to the end spot. There's very few times in life where you're working on something and it just happens for you instantly. It's like the likelihood of me getting on here and the first YouTube video that I ever posted just goes viral and everybody loves it, and then I get like 100,000 followers. I mean, it's so few and far between that people this happens for. You know, you've got the story of Jim Carrey, how he walked around. He wrote that in his wallet. He kept a thing in his wallet about how he was getting paid $10 million for being in a movie. And people use that as a manifesting story. Well, yes, he manifested it, but he also pursued acting. He also was going to these comedy clubs every single night. His girlfriend was making a fool of him. She was saying that, oh, you know, you're never going to be successful at this. And what did he do? Well, he kept at it. No matter what was going on in his 3D, no matter what was going on in his external environment, he kept taking that action towards his goal because he knew and he believed in it. And it was aligned action. It was in alignment with, you know, his thoughts and his deeds and his words were all in alignment, right? And that's the power when you take massive action. Let's say that you're going and you're doing this again, whether it's door to door, whether it's a comedy thing, you know, you feel so crushed because he probably went through it, right? He was feeling like rejected, you know, people didn't think he was funny. And for me, when I was learning door to door sales, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm getting really like harsh on the doors. You know, people are cursing me out at the doors, telling me to leave, and they don't want to see me. And what I'm doing is, you know, I'm obnoxious and all this. And it's like, once you knock, like on those days where I knocked 100 doors, you know, it's like by the 80th, by the 90th door, I could really care less what these people kind of throw at me. And that's the beauty of this, of taking massive action, is that you naturally detach from the goal. The goal naturally goes like this because you've done it so many times that the internal weight that you give something lessens naturally. And I really want to impart this to you guys because, you know, even with this channel, the more and more videos that I make, the more and more that I loosen the grip, and the more and more that effortlessly that it comes, and the more that I practice communicating through this medium, the more that I'm better, the more that I improve at it, the more that I go up and talk to people, the more that I've done sales, the more that I've engaged in any single activity that I've ever done. That's what a lot of the times loosens that grip and allows you to take that detached action. It allows you to enter into that secure kind of attachment. The first time that, you know, as a guy, you go up when you're in your middle school or high school or whatever it is, and you go up and talk to that girl that you have a crush on, you know, you're so embarrassed and it's like such a big deal because you've never done it before, right? Well, you know, as you grow up, as you get older and you talk to more and more girls and stuff, it's like naturally the weight of that dissipates because you're not putting all of your identity on, oh my gosh, like this girl, is she gonna reject me? Is she gonna like me? Like, what does it say about me? You're not creating this whole entire narrative just about how one person responded to you. And it's the same thing with sales. It's the same thing with creating videos. It's the same thing with any skill that we do. We're not getting so wrapped up in it because it's not the one point of focus. It's like, okay, well, I'm on this path. It's my natural expression to expand my energy, expand like myself as a being, put myself out there. And that's what it is that we do in this life. That's the point of life, is being expansive, being, you know, completely expressive, being the highest expression that we can of ourselves in this life. And I would like to just offer you this as another way of looking at things, that, you know, it doesn't have to be this hard grind that you're grinding your nose into the ground and on this hustle and grinding and you're hating your life. But you can take massive action in a detached way. You can decide that every single day you're going to, you know, do your affirmations in the mirror, and that's a form of taking action too. But you're going to commit to it. You're going to stay consistent with it, and you have faith and knowing that by taking that action, that you are becoming more and more in alignment with all of those things that you were declaring for yourself. You are becoming more and more that version that you've decided that you're going to be, and by embodying it, that action is telling the universe that you are embodying it now. You are now walking with faith. Faith is not just a feeling for you anymore. Faith is truly showing up and manifesting through your bodily sense, through the way that you are showing up in the world. And so this is something that, you know, it's been on my mind a lot. It's just kind of like a little bit frustrating to me that people are so dogmatic with all this thing about action and really resisting the idea of taking action, because to me, taking action has been a beautiful thing in my life. And I really have had a lot of growth from going out there, taking action, putting myself in uncomfortable positions, pushing my comfort zone. And I think it's a magical thing. I think the more that we resist kind of the physical world that we're in and our physical bodies, which naturally show up in the world, and naturally we do take action, that our behavior, you know, our thoughts are made into our words, which are made into our actions, which are made into our habits, which is our character, which becomes our destiny. And I talked about that in a recent video. By resisting this physical side of things, you're really like resisting a part of life, I really feel like, and you're really not like truly embracing life for all that it has to offer. That's just my perspective. You know, if you guys disagree with me, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to take offense to it and like really just get like all hurt about it or anything. But this is really, I really truly believe what I'm saying here. And I hope that, you know, it makes sense. I hope that you guys can maybe reconcile some of the stuff that some of these other people are telling you, and just try to come at this with a more holistic, balanced approach, because I really find that no matter what it is that I'm doing in life, you know, the body's connected to the mind. The body mind is its own thing, and the healthier that I eat, the better thoughts that I entertain, the better the people that I decide to be around, and the better information I take in. It all has an impact. It all has a compounding effect. The things that I decide to do with my day, it all filters in, it all makes an impact into the person that I'm becoming. And again, like with our manifestations, they're just a tool. They're just a tool. Like, the manifestation, the end goal that you want right now, you think that that's going to make you have all the happiness and all of this thing, all of the feel good things, but feeling good is about embodying that highest version of yourself. And you know, I really think that while we're on this plane, while we're on this planet, you know, life is short. It's not as long as we think it is. And I really think that, like, being that person, it involves being and showing up in the world, in this physical reality as well that we're in. That it involves like us being here, us being present, us actually doing and being and having those things that we want. It's not just a mental thing where we're just sitting around and imagining things. That can be very, very helpful for us on our path, but a lot of the times it's meeting the universe halfway. It's coming into alignment with yourself as a spiritual being and as a physical being, and really just taking in all the opportunities that you are blessed with on this earth to create that life for yourself that you truly want. So with that being said, guys, I really appreciate all the love that I've been getting on the channel lately. Drop this with a like. I hope that this video has helped you and inspired you in some way. Even just getting up in the mirror like I did when I was doing those sales and taking that massive action and telling myself every day in the morning that I am so good at sales and I'm becoming better and better every single day, and that my communication skills, I'm a master of communication and I'm a master of persuasion, and everybody loves me. Saying all these things in the mirror and looking into my eyes and really telling myself that I'm becoming at one with this thing that I'm envisioning for myself, that I'm a phenomenal salesman and that I'm achieving this and that it's going to help me achieve these other things and all of this. It really, really helps going, and I really recommend, you know, going into the mirror and looking at yourself while you're giving yourself these robotic affirmations, because I really think it's going to kind of cement them into reality more. And I made that video recently about cementing them into reality, and that's about, you know, combining what you can, your internal resources with what's available to you in the physical world as your external resources. And when you combine them both, you really, really supercharge your intentions. You really, really start stepping in and embodying those in the present here and now moment on this earth. Anyways, much love as always. Drop this with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.